Baba is the highest on high. He is the father who doesn't have a father. He is the teacher who doesn't learn from anybody. And he is the Satguru who doesn't have a guru. Now you see that in the world, when you talk to people or when they speak to you, one thing they generally say is, "Who is mine?" And I'm all alone. And I remember that there was this one brother, and he was handling a very responsible position in some department, and he was also taking care of the family. And when he came to the center, he said that all through the day, I am taking responsibility, whether it is in the office or whether it is at home, but that is building up a lot of stress in me. And he said that until my father was alive, I felt much better. But after my father left the body, I feel like my stress has doubled or tripled. And when he said that, then I told him that, you see, when your father was there, even at that time, you were the one handling the responsibilities. But the thing is, you always were in this awareness that my father is there and he is taking care. And this made you very carefree. And I asked him, is it that you didn't do as much as you do today when your father was alive? He said, no, I did everything. He was almost bedridden for a very good period of time. So, but his brain was working, his body was not working. So he always guided me and he told me the right things and just encouraged me. So you see, what I want to say here is that there is a saying in English, if you worry, you don't trust your father, which means that when you are with the father, you don't worry. Now, in this world, we see that there are many times dysfunctional relationships. I have also seen cases where logic parents or physical father is the cause of stress. That also happens these days because, sometimes parents will say children are the cause of my stress. And these days, children also come and say that my father is the cause of my stress. Because, I remember there was this one Mata and her son had come. And they both discussed how the father was the cause of stress in the family and how he was just drinking incessantly and he was being very irresponsible and he was getting beaten up also here and there, and they also had to go to the police to rescue him. So we are living in a time of Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga you see things are very different from how we would think of them in Satyug. So Baba says that in this world you see these sayings also, that you don't worry when you trust your father. These sayings can only be told about God, the Father, because otherwise you see humans may or may not fit into these descriptions. Sometimes you have very well functional families, very rare, but yes, functional families where these things are true, sometimes not. So it differs case by case. But when it comes to Baba, so Baba says, I am the father of you, the soul. And I am the Supreme Father. There is no father higher than me. And you see, a father is a provider, a nurturer, somebody who gives you an identity, somebody who guides you to the purpose of life, and somebody also gives you security and inheritance. Yes, so Baba says, I am the Supreme Father, I am the ultimate giver who only gives without taking it. So you see, these days, when we talk about generational trauma, we always say that, the grandfather did not give it to the father, so the father couldn't give it to the child. Whether it is emotional, whether it is, what do you say, emotional or rather spiritual sustenance, or whether it is inheritance. So you see, inheritance also is passed down generation by generation. Or if the grandfather didn't treat the child respectfully, then the child also doesn't treat his child respectfully. So these things are passed on generation by generation. But Baba says, I don't take from anybody. I am the ultimate parent. It's not like if my father didn't teach me well, I can't do that same thing to you. So I am the ultimate, and I don't take sustenance or take inheritance from anybody. I only give sustenance and inheritance. And you see, when we come to Baba, we are in orphan consciousness. What is orphan consciousness? Two things. One, who do I belong to? Who is mine? I'm alone. And second is, who is watching me? Who am I answerable to? I'm answerable to no one. Yes, this is the consciousness of an orphan. An orphan thinks that, I'm not accountable or answerable to anybody, and I have nobody to take care of me. But Baba says that when you come to me, I tell you and I make you aware that you are a soul and I am your father and I am always with you, whether you know it or not know it. And here I am practically, I am here with you, talking to you every day through the Murli and guiding you in everything through the Murli, holding your hand and taking you to heaven. So Baba says that I am your father and you are a soul. And Baba says that you have to now remember two things. That Baba is always with me and Baba is watching me, protecting me, nurturing me, guiding me, and Baba is taking care of me. Baba is making sure that, I don't make mistakes. Baba is making sure I have the best. And you have to hold this in your awareness, because you see, trust or faith is a very important factor. Sometimes children feel like orphans when trust is lost on the parent. Yes, even if the parent is there, but when the trust is lost, you can feel like an orphan. So Baba says that you have to have this faith that I'm with you. And when you keep thinking about, keep holding this in your awareness, that the Almighty is your parent and He's always with you and He is giving you the nurturing and the sustenance and the inheritance that you deserve, then you will never worry. Yes, and Baba says that you have to think about me in a wonderful way, that I am the ultimate parent. I am the parent of your parent, your grandparents, your everybody. And Baba says that I am here for you, with you. So hold that in your awareness always. Never think that you are alone. Always know that Baba is there, watching over you, taking care of you, and give your burden to Baba. Baba says, you will do everything, but give your worry, your burden, your emotional turmoil, your fears to me, because I'm here to handle all of those. And you stay light. You know that if you do your best, I will take care of the rest. Yes, so Baba doesn't tell us do everything, do your best. Yes, and when you do your best, Baba takes care of the rest. So, this is something that Baba tells us to hold in our awareness. And second thing that I told you, know that you are accountable and answerable. So, when you have a good, caring parent, you are always aware, even when you are doing something in private, you are aware that, if my father finds out, then I will have to give an explanation. Yes, are you aware of that? With Lokik fathers also, you are always aware that I shouldn't be caught doing something which I cannot explain to my father. So Baba says, always remember that Baba is there with you and Baba is watching you. So even in the most private of your, existence, know that Baba is there and you have to be answerable to Baba. So this is something that protects you. And you see, in the world also, parents tell children, don't do anything that will make me lose my honor. Yes, and Baba also says the same thing. But you see, maybe with physical parents we may or may not have done that, but with the Parlokik parent we must do that. That we must also always take care that we don't do anything that makes other people point a finger at Baba, or even, personally, I shouldn't feel that I do anything against Srimat that is not in consonance with Baba's directions, because whatever the child does reflects on the father's honor. So, understand that, every action, whether thought, word, or act, you are accountable to Baba for it. So, when you have this thing that, and in my experience, you see, Baba is called the Buddhivano ki Buddhi, or the restorer of conscience. And this is a very big title that Baba has. And I think, in my journey, I have felt that always keeping this awareness that Baba is watching me, or I am answerable to Baba, makes your conscience very active. So you start noticing the little mistakes you make and you stop making them, because you understand that I am answerable, and you understand that you have a relationship which is based on trust and or faith. So you have a relationship which is based on answerability and accountability. So then you start checking your actions and you also start changing them. And when you have this awareness that Baba is watching you, it becomes very easy to take power from Baba and change those actions also. And the conscience that was not, the conscience that is our very great treasure, which we had lost in this journey, because you see, your conscience is your best friend. But because we started listening to Ravan and we stopped listening to, listening to the conscience which was activated by Baba in the last Kalpa, so we lost that functional conscience. And because of that loss of functional conscience, what happened is we had to refer to scriptures and this and that to figure out whether I did right or wrong. Whereas you see, if you have a functional conscience, you will know whether whatever you're thinking, speaking, doing is right or wrong. You will not have to ask anybody or nobody will have to point out. But how do you get that functional conscience back again? When you start having this relationship with Baba, that Baba is there with me, watching me, and Baba is giving me, and I'm answerable, I'm accountable. You know, some children use this language, why should I be accountable or answerable to anybody? But in my experience, it is a very, very good thing to think that you are answerable and accountable to Baba. You know, these days there's a trend of shying away from answerability and accountability. And generally people say, who are you to ask me, or who are you to question me? And it's very easy to say that, but it's very difficult to really find somebody who you can be answerable and accountable to, and in doing so you can be responsible for your own actions. And this is a method to have an active conscience and to be in a position where you are responsible for your own actions. And Baba gives us that very great power. So we must develop this relationship with Baba, that I am answerable to Baba. And every thought, every word, every act that you engage in is being watched over by Baba. And always check, you see, because there will be a day when you will, when Baba will ask you, why did you do this? Because you see, you can say shut up to everybody. But what when Baba asks you as Dharamraj, then what will you do? So it is very important to have this relationship, or change your stance from an orphan to somebody who has a father, who has a protector, who has a who has somebody who gives you security and inheritance, and also somebody you are answerable to. So I always think, when somebody tells me, points out something, I sit down and I think about it, that when I go before Baba, will I be able to explain this or not? And will this be in the right light or not? And this has helped me so much that now I have an active conscience, and nobody needs to point out some mistake in me. As soon as I even take a negative thought, there is a correction inside. And I already Baba is telling me, or the conscience is active, so you figure out that this is not okay and it needs to change. So this is something that Baba says. Then second thing, Baba is the supreme teacher. Baba doesn't learn from anybody. Baba is the ultimate in knowledge. And you see, we always say ocean of knowledge, or we say the one who knows everything, not the one who learns and knows, but the one who knows everything by default. That is Baba. And it is very interesting if you think about it. There is nobody else in this whole drama who knows everything without learning. Yes, everybody else learns. And we always say, there is inductive knowledge and there is deductive knowledge. So we are all we are trained into inductive knowledge. So there is no piece of knowledge through which you deduce everything. There is no ultimate knowledge in the world. But Baba says that Baba is the source of ultimate knowledge. And in that, as a source of ultimate knowledge, Baba doesn't need to verify and check, and it's not prone to doubt, or it's not prone to questioning, because God is the truth. And the thing with truth is, you see, you may or may not understand the truth. You may or may not be able to make sense of the truth, but the truth will remain the truth. So when Baba says something and I don't understand, I cannot say that Baba is saying something wrong, or maybe Baba is mistaken. Or maybe, or I can differ from Baba. No, because Baba is the truth. He is called the truth. Whatever he says is definitely true. But whether I understand it or not is an aspect of my buddhi. And slowly, gradually, maybe I will, with yoga power, I will cleanse my buddhi and understand it. But when you understand that Baba is the supreme teacher and there is no other teacher, so you see, when you have doubt about the teachings of one teacher, you verify that with another teacher. But in case of Baba, there is no verification possible or needed, because Baba is telling you the ultimate truth. And when you remember Baba with that kind of a that kind of an awareness that Baba is the wonderful teacher who is the ultimate teacher and he only tells the truth, then you will be able to imbibe the truth in you. Because you see, there is this thing that we always try to verify the truth, and because we don't have the capacity to verify the truth, so we have lost this quality of surrender. Because we are always, you see, these days, what is the language we speak? I don't know, maybe it is true, maybe it is not. And that is the most fashionable thing we are doing these days. But if you keep saying, I don't know, then knowledge is power. Then how will you have power? If you don't know anything, then you have no power. So, but Baba tells us that, you see, I am the ultimate truth and whatever I am telling you is true. And you take that, you understand that there is a supreme teacher and he has come to teach me, and this is my Baba and this is the Murli he speaks. And when you have that conviction that this is the ultimate teacher and you try to have yoga with this teacher, then you are able to understand the truth or have the power to understand what Baba tells you. And I remember, there was this one Mata, and she told me that I don't know whether how do I really judge whether this drama is actually 5,000 years, or whether there's a soul world that exists. And she was a scientist and she kept telling me, how do I figure out? So I said, do you really think that you have the power to figure out the ultimate truths? So she said, maybe not. So I said, I'm telling you this is God, and God is telling you this is God, and He's the supreme teacher and He's teaching you. So have that faith and just allow yourself to consider that this is the truth and just work with it. And then the truth has a quality of revealing itself. Do you know, there is this saying, truth reveals itself. But only when you have faith in the ocean of truth, Baba, that this is the ultimate teacher, and with that faith, when you try to accept the truth, then the truth will reveal itself to you and you will know that this is the truth. And the beauty of truth is, you can realize it, but the truth cannot be proven. Truth is never proven, truth is realized. And for realization, you need surrender. And only when you have faith that Baba is the supreme teacher, the ultimate teacher, then you realize that whatever Baba says is true. And there are many ways in which you will realize it. You will personally have many proofs. but those proofs will not be useful for you to prove it to others. Those proofs will be useful for you to have faith. But that happens when you know that Baba is the ultimate teacher. And there's a very beautiful song of Baba. तेरा वो प्यार है जो समझाया नहीं जाता. So we can, so Baba, so in that song the children express that I understand you, but I don't know whether I can make another one understand. I can share whatever Baba is telling me, but to understand, they need to connect with the Father, Teacher, and Satguru. And do you understand that when you have this kind of faith that Baba is the ultimate teacher and he is with me, and whatever Baba is saying is the truth, and when you try to access the truth with that faith, then what you get is the power of truth. And the power of truth makes you what Baba says, Sacha, which is pure. So this is the process, and this process starts with knowing that God is the ultimate teacher. He's upheld and famous as the ultimate teacher. So that is Baba. And then the third is Baba is the Satguru. So Baba doesn't need Mukti and Jivan Mukti. He gives Mukti and Jivan Mukti. So you see, all the gurus in the world, they are themselves doing tapasya. They have not got Mukti and Jivan Mukti. And I remember there was one guru, and he was doing his own tapasya, and then I met him and I asked him, do you know the path to salvation? And he said, yes, if somebody becomes my disciple, I will tell him the path to salvation. And then I asked him, if you know the path, why didn't you go to salvation? Why are you still here? So he said, I am trying. So I said, if you're still trying, how do you know it works? So you have not got the path to salvation. And if you're still trying, how do you know it works? So he said, what is the other option? So I said, the real Satguru is God, and he has come, and he is telling us the path to salvation. And we are practicing that because he is in salvation. So Baba, that is why Baba says that you need somebody to come from the Mukti Dham to teach you how to go into Mukti and Jivan Mukti. You cannot have somebody who has not been there, who can teach you how to go there. If he knew the path, he would go there. So Baba says that I am the one who stays in the soul world, and not by virtue of staying in the soul world, because Baba says, I am the Satguru anyway. I don't go to Satyug, but I send you to Satyug. And I am upheld in the whole world. People say, God is the Father, Teacher and Satguru. Why? Because He is the only one who can tell you the way to Mukti and Jivan Mukti, to the soul world and to heaven. And what is the way? The way is to consider yourself to be a soul and remember Baba. Story of the beginning days of the Yajna, where Dadi, Nirmal Shantamani Dadi, the Lokik daughter of Brahma Baba, she also surrendered herself in the Yajna. And Baba was in Kashmir at that time, and at that time somebody asked Nirmal Shantamani Dadi, do you know the way to Pahalgam? And Dadi said, I don't know the way to Pahalgam, but I know the way to Paramdham. So he said, where is Paramdham? So she said, you come here, we will tell you the way to Paramdham. And then she took that brother and guided her to the, to that place where all the Brahmin family was staying, and then somebody gave him the course, and that brother knew the way to Paramdham. So this is how Baba says, I tell you the way to Paramdham, I tell you the way to Satyug. And Baba says, Baba is the father, teacher and Satguru for me, the soul. So only in soul consciousness can I connect with Baba. Yes, and you see, when the soul is in soul consciousness, then you think about, you have this intention to go to the soul world or to Satyug. But when you're body conscious, you don't want to go to soul world and Satyug. You want to be here. Yes, but in soul consciousness, you know that you have to go to Satyug, and you have to be eligible to go to the soul world. And Baba today tells us that in soul consciousness, when you look at me and I look at you, then your sins are burnt. Yes, and there is a very good analogy that we give for Raj Yoga, and that analogy is that just like when you focus a lens, focus the rays of the sun through a lens on a piece of paper, then that paper burns, right? So Baba tells us that your sins are like the paper, and I am the sun, but I cannot burn your sins unless you focus your lens. What is the lens? The buddhi. Yes. So when you have concentrated attention of the buddhi on me, when you have your buddhi yoga with just me, none other, then your sins are burnt. But the law says that you remember as you are. So when you think you are a teacher, you will remember the student. When you think you are a mother, you will remember the child. When you think you are a boss, you will remember the office. So in order to remember Baba, you must be in full soul consciousness. So only when you have this deep, you are in that deep place of awareness that I'm just a soul, then you can have your focused attention on Baba, because Baba is the one the soul has all relationships with, and Baba is the one who the soul gets all attainments from. It's not the body. So, and the thing is, Baba doesn't give anything directly to the body. Baba always gives everything to the soul. Baba hugs the soul. Baba can't hug the body. Yes, but Baba gives you a warm hug, a warm embrace of love when you are a soul and you connect with Buddhi Yoga with Baba. So Baba gives everything to the soul. Baba doesn't give anything directly to the body. Of course, when the soul is pure and powerful, then physically also everything you attract. But directly Baba doesn't give anything to the body. And in body consciousness, your focus is on what you get directly from bodily beings. Yes, Baba talks to the soul, and the soul learns and understands when you are in yoga, and the soul realizes, and the soul, empowers in yoga. But when you are in body consciousness, you are not interested in this language of silence. What are you interested in? I want somebody to talk to. And people are hankering after those who they can talk to. And they talk so much, people talk so much, and sometimes I think about, how much we need to talk in body consciousness. There is such a compelling need to talk so much in body consciousness. So until and unless you're in soul consciousness, you cannot focus on Baba and you cannot appreciate what Baba gives you, and you cannot experience what Baba gives you, because Baba is in a very subtle realm and this world is in a very gross and materialistic realm. So, in order to switch off from here and switch on there, you need to have very good stage of soul consciousness. And this is why Baba says that when you are soul conscious and you are so nicely, in that state that you are just looking at me and you only feel that I am looking at you. You are unaware of everyone else and everything else around you. In that state, you start receiving whatever I am giving you, and I fulfill you also, and your sins are also burnt away. Okay, Om Shanti.